Interest rates during the earlier part of this decade were set to suit German and French industrial concerns who were suffering from the downturn. So they lowered interest rates to suit those economies. Now at that time in Ireland, we had our Celtic Tiger, and the last thing that we needed was lower interest rates, because it simply fed the boom. It fed the demand for property because cheap money was available. And of course, as we all know, the effect of that is with very high prices for properties, property boom, and now the collapse with negative equity, etc. Exchange rates. The way Ireland is unique in Europe insofar as 70% of our exports don't go into the Eurozone area, but rather into the UK, the US, and non-Eurozone countries. But the EU has been following a strong Eurozone policy, which has meant that our exports are now very expensive going into traditional markets, particularly the UK. The UK sterling had been devalued during 2008 by 33% against the euro. And as a result of that, many Irish businesses, particularly in the food area, have had to lay off people. And this has added greatly to the recession. The total lack of effective regulation in the Eurozone has meant that the Irish banks were able to behave irresponsibly over the last 10 years in their lending policies, etc. In relation to the European Central Bank, in our view, there are two fundamental problems. First of all, the voting weight, according to the regulations in Protocol number 4 in the treaty, specify that voting is according to the GDP in individual member states. As a result of that, peripheral countries like Ireland, Spain, Greece, and Portugal have very little clout by comparison with the GDP weighting in France and Germany. The ECB needs to change the rules to take account of the needs of peripheral economies. Also, the ECB, under the treaty, is not obliged to take into account any of the democratic institutions of the European Union itself or of individual members. This needs to be changed. Democratic accountability needs to be introduced. Only by voting against Lisbon and by bringing forward new proposals which incorporate those suggestions can Europe fully recover from the economic recession.